Back a year ago now, my channel transitioned from information technology-based content to electric vehicle content instead as a result of my passion. My intention was to create content for road trips into charging deserts, and I created many videos under that nomenclature. Unfortunately, that is likely drawing to a close. Actually, not unfortunately, but because of the Tesla supercharger network being made available to non-Teslas, there's likely just not going to be any more charging deserts. It's just a simple fact of life. My corporate time off burn for 2023 is getting ready to be completed. And in 2024, the supercharger network is going to be open. So this is likely the last video in the series that I'm going to be making. Ironically, it's to a destination that was originally planned to be my first destination, but circumstances changed and kept me from being able to do so. Here's an excerpt explaining the situation. I used PlugShare in order to find out where the chargers were in order to get places like my brother-in-law's house for Thanksgiving and things like that. But what I started to develop was desire to make road trips into what are called charging deserts. And charging deserts are these blank spots here where there's no chargers. I'm like, well, what would it be like to go there? That would be fun, because all the YouTube videos are people going up and down the interstates. That's, to me, is kind of boring. I want to go into the charging desert. And the first one I was looking at was Jenny Wiley State Park near Prestonburg, Kentucky. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Prestonburg, Kentucky. Jenny Wiley State Park, right there. This is a charging desert. Because if you're going on a road trip, as I said, you don't want to charge off these level 2 chargers because they take hours. If you're out of juice and you need to fill back up, you're going to be stuck there for 6 hours while you fill back up again. No one wants to do that. So you want to get these DC fast chargers, which are way down here on the interstate, and then head up into the charging desert and get back. You want to have enough juice to be able to get back down. And so this, to me, was fun. How can I do that? How can I get to Jenny Wiley State Park in Prestonburg, Virginia, go see the park, have fun, and get back? This is a charging desert. There ain't nothing around here. Now, there is this one level 2 charger in Pikesville. This is where I was going to go. It's a nice charger in a covered parking garage not too far from the state park. So that was my plan. The problem is that there was flooding in Kentucky, and the state of Kentucky has made Jenny Wiley State Park Lodge available to the people who were affected by the flood. And so right now, the lodge is not open. It's being used as a temporary place for people to live while their homes are taken care of. So I've put that trip on hold. Well, going on a year later, it's now time to complete the series and head off to Jenny Wiley State Park in Prestonburg, Kentucky. It is still a very remote charging desert, making this a challenge, probably at the most extreme for locations that I have been. I went through rump to crown on the state of West Virginia, which was tricky, but I don't think it compares to the location surrounding Jenny Wiley State Park, which in general is southwest of Charleston, West Virginia.
Okay, so we're on our way. This is the Quality Mart off Interstate 77, a Duke Energy Park and Plug DC fast charger. I think these are BTC Power. Yeah, BTC Power units. So the strategy to pull off this stunt is to just cruise on down the interstate like nothing's going on, pull into Abington, Virginia this evening, get as much juice as I possibly can before jumping off the cliff into the charging desert. And this charging desert is a ferocious void of any electric vehicle infrastructure, including level 2. There are a few level 2 and even some plugs along the way. Once I'm into the charging desert, my intention is to basically stop at each one, because the PlugShare notes are not very clear about which ones are working and which ones aren't. So I'm going to assume that all of them are going to be broken, and anytime I have an opportunity to charge, I'm going to take that opportunity. Right now I'm going to finish charging up here, get back on the interstate, and head toward Abington, Virginia, where I can top off, hopefully as close to 100% as I possibly can. All right, well, that was scary. I just had the data on my cell phone stop working. And it is amazing how debilitating that is. You can't get into your charging apps. You can't find your directions. All my directions. I could use the center console.
Turn left onto the I-77 North ramp,
to
then
basically
merge onto I-77 North.
Get to where I need to. But I basically have a lot of notes for this trip in a Google Doc. You wouldn't be able to get into that. Communications to and from my wife would be disabled. Most importantly, the charging apps, because several of the locations along this way are charging networks that I don't typically use. There's a Blink location and one of the charge points. I don't have a RFID card for charge point. So I pulled in, I used my RFID card in order to get the Duke Energy BTC power unit, which I have a Shell Recharge RFID card for. And while it was charging, I sorted through what was going on, and apparently AT&T was suffering a data outage in the Charlotte metropolitan area that had extended up here, and they apparently fixed it while I was in the process of troubleshooting. So we are back in business. Okay, so I'm a little unsettled about how scared I was over that event. And I have to be honest, I was scared. My cellular data stopped working, and it occurred to me that none of my apps were going to function. And I actually tried the ChargePoint app, it wouldn't function. And I have to do a Blink charge. And basically I was going to have to cancel the trip because my cellular data wasn't working. Gasoline cars are susceptible to electrical outages because the pumps won't pump gas without electricity. And obviously DC fast chargers are as well, but they're also susceptible to loss of cellular communication. There was an event for ABB chargers, of which this is one. Circle K uses ABB chargers, about 2 weeks ago, and their interconnection with the cellular network was interrupted, and it brought down a large portion of the nation's ABB chargers. They couldn't communicate. Circle K, I understand, have these configured in order to fail open, meaning that if they lose cellular connection, they'll still dispense electricity for free. But with my cell phone not having a cellular connection, that wouldn't help, because this dispenser is still thinking that it has a cellular connection. It's just the customer who doesn't. And so I was going to be stuck. I was going to have to cancel the trip, and I could not figure out a way around it. It was really remarkable how dependent I was on cellular data in order to complete an EV road trip. I'm safely here at Circle K off Interstate 81 in Westville, Virginia. Abington, Virginia is a little bit down 81. Should be getting there just fine. At my last place, I was a little bit flustered, so I left without actually doing a good calculation of how much juice I needed. And I just needed about 10% in order to get to Abington. I do have RFID cards, which is what I used at my last place. This is the Shell Recharge RFID card. So there is that should cellular data fail, but that will only get you so far in a charging desert. And that was definitely an eye-opening experience. I'm a pretty hardened road tripper, and to be knocked off kilter as much as I was as a result of the loss of cellular data was definitely an eye-opening event. And I'm not quite sure what the answer is. I've heard in Europe they have different payment systems that are more reliable and not reliant on cell phones. They use near-field communications in order to deduct funds from your utility account, and then it just shows up on your utility bill. At least in the United Kingdom, I understand that's the case. So anyway, looks like the trip is still a go. Okay, this is a 25 kilowatt combo CCS and CHAdeMO DC fast charger made available by the city of Abingdon, Virginia, in their downtown district as a exercise and revitalization. It's a very vibrant downtown area off Interstate 81, probably about a mile and a half from the interstate. Not too bad. I think they're connected. And I was thinking about that situation with the cell data on the way over, and what it ended up being is my cell carrier AT&T had a regional outage in the Charlotte area that knocked out data services for cell customers. And once I crossed a certain threshold, everything came back, and I started getting text messages again, and everything was fine. There is the alternative of using the Apple Wallet near field communication for ChargePoint, but I don't have that for Blink, so I would have been SOL on the Blink situation. But I recognize the feeling. It was the same feeling that I would have if I would lose a wallet. You know, that kind of panic that, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to purchase anything. Someone's got my wallet. They're probably going to jack up my credit cards, and I need to go through and get a new driver's. It was that same kind of panicky feeling that I was experiencing. But all's good now. What I'm going to do is hang out here with the 25 kilowatt. Oh, it's a Delta charger. That's interesting. I'll look at the model here in a second. Hang out here and get some charge in downtown Abington, explore the downtown a little bit, do some video editing, hunker down, and then jump off the cliff into the charging desert in the morning. All right, so this is a big time score. The only level 2 charger close to the park had a space open. I was anticipating both spaces would be occupied. One space is occupied by a Rivian. Yes! But the other space is open. Whew. Big relief. Yes. Thank you, ChargePoint. Oh, that was exhausting. Second half of the trip, most of the day today was spent at level 2 chargers, pulling less than 7 kilowatts, trying to build up enough in order to survive getting here and being able to get back out of the charging desert. I'm pretty close right now. According to my Google navigation, I should be able to make it back if I don't venture around right around 10%, but I want to venture a bit because I didn't come here just to touch home base and leave. This is a place that I've been picturing myself coming to for quite a while. And it sure feels nice sitting next to this fireplace. I've seen pictures of it, but in actuality, it's so nice to actually be here. Beautiful lodge. And thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video.